自衛隊 actually worked under the direction of Korenoko Yamato in order to deliver logistics. Can you believe that? The U.S. Army working under the jurisdiction of a private entity to deliver goods to the public. But Yamato was so efficient that Jeitai basically decided, we'll work under these guys. So, in a disaster situation, a lot of unthinkables happen. This is one of the unthinkables. The photos are bad, but this is like a few days trying to deliver takyubin. Also, a very detailed logistics system that is set up in Sendai. This is in Sendai. So, this is Lawson, right after the tsunami. This is Lawson right now. Same story. Again, how could they come up with this recovery so quickly? What was it about Lawson? And 7-Eleven did, as well, but Lawson was a lot faster than 7-Eleven. So what was it about 7-Eleven, Lawson? Well, one of the answers, of course, is the president is a graduate of the Harvard Business School. That helps, right? That helps. But,
most of his classes are pleasure.
Oh, thank you. So, you go from here to here. They came up with onigiri, and you can see the packaging of this is incomplete. They decided that it'd be better to give out onigiri. This is terrible packaging as far as Japan is concerned, right? There's nothing about shomikigen, when you can eat it, nothing there, no brand. But Ninami basically said they need onigiri, not the cover, the package. So this was delivered, 3 days after the tsunami. They also came up with a bento called aizu sauce katsudon. Those of you who know Japanese, katsu is to win, right? So they came up with a katsudon. And the title was for aizu and trying to make the contribution all to Tohoku. So this is Lawson. And here he is, Ninami, 14 days after the tsunami, visiting the local stores. And, the people couldn't believe it. What? Ninami, the president is coming? The CEO is coming? And sure enough, he's been there about 5 times already. This is the last one I will show. This is Uniqlo. And I don't know if you know Uniqlo, but they're the Gap equivalent. They just opened their 5th Avenue store in New York City, but they're into basic apparel. So they decided 800,000 units would be collected right away and boxed and sent via their own vehicles to the respective cities in Tohoku. This is a picture of them delivering goods. The cars parked here are the private cars of Uniqlo employees. They gave up. A lot of the people who came, the Uniqlo people were very surprised, were very elderly people. So they thought there would be a different audience, but here they are. This is them. I want to point out one thing because my wife is here. This kid here is our son. So he was in Tohoku for 2 months. He experienced Kobe earthquake as a volunteer. So he was working in New York City, and he says, "Dad, I just can't bear it. I have to go to Tohoku." So he got the permission from the CEO to go for 2 weeks. He ended up staying there 2 months. Fortunately, he still has a job. But this is Uniqlo. And they wanted Uniqlo, the people there thought that having the packaging from Uniqlo would help, because then it's like having a shopping experience. So, kind of normalization of their day-to-day life. Here they are. They found out that the first item that they gave was heat tech, the thermal underwear. But the people said, no, 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 you know, when they do the surveys and so forth, no, what we need are other things like gloves and hats. This is their new effort to try to meet the needs of the customers. So, last picture is this. You know, you always have to do a little self-promotion at the very end. So Jiro Nonaka and I wrote an article called The Wise Leader in the May issue of the Harvard Business Review. In fact, I brought about 20 copies, so if you want a free copy of this, I have it, and I'll give it to you during the break. But basically, in this article, we say what the interesting thing about this article is 10 people appear in our article as role models. 9 of them are Japanese, and 1 is, of course, an Indian, Ratan Tata. Right? And all the others are Japanese CEOs, including Yanai-san of fast retailing. And the reasons they were picked, 2 things. One, they really understand the importance of the common good. So in Japanese we say, yo no tame, hito no tame. Why do companies exist? Basically, this is sort of the creating shared value concept by Michael Porter to provide not only economic value, but societal value. So Japanese CEOs, they are not so much driven by maximization of shareholder value, but the common good. And secondly, it's the wise leader because they make decisions, judgments right there and then. Context is very important. So it's not so much the theory. One of the problems with economists is when there's a gap between theory and reality, economists have a tendency of saying, there's something wrong with reality. But these wise leaders look at reality and the context and say, what can we do? This is the business school perspective, and I appreciate your attention. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions? Okay. Okay, so our instructions are to have a somewhat abbreviated break, 15 minutes for coffee, which will be right outside the doors on the